Hey there, welcome to Woohoo Wednesday. This week we want to talk about the future. We spend a lot of time thinking about the future. What's going to happen in the next 10, 20, 30 years? What do we need to anticipate? What products or solutions do we need to ideate to deliver on that future? And what we found is it's really hard for most people to think about the future. And at Bamboo, we call it the lens of possibility. Like, how do we look through this lens of what's possible? And whether you're thinking about that for your own self personally, for your career or your life, or you're thinking about it as a leader of a team or a CEO or a brand owner, it can be really tough because you are grappling with the short-term real expectations that are upon you, the KPIs and the short-term deliverables that you need to meet, and people don't stay at companies as long as they used to. And so you might say, Tracy, what's the point of me doing a long-term future back strategy if I'm not going to be here? Well, I would submit you might stay longer. And while you're there, you might have more joy. And that's our number one goal at Bamboo, because we have a belief, a fundamental belief, that if you have more fun at work, you are more creative. And that creative expression makes your life more enjoyable and more meaningful and more rewarding. And we have seen this time and time again with the teams that we work with. So this goal of creating a future back strategy ultimately is about bringing you more joy in your work. So I'm going to give you a framework that you can start to think about this. Now, you can use this personally for yourself as your own kind of career planning and visioning, and it's a really good bolt-on to the PCA sort that we shared a couple of weeks ago when I did the feature with my friend Misty Reich from Above And. Or you can obviously do this for your team and for your brand, which is what we do all the time. So I'm just going to give you a starting point, and then you can take it from there to start to build out the strategies that can get you to that future state. So what's a great place to start? Well, I talked about joy. And what gives you joy usually is connected to what are you in pursuit of? What is the idea that you want to share with the world? Or what is the change that you want to create? Those are two good places to start when you think about what is your pursuit. Now, if a brand has a lofty pursuit, it's inspiring. Think about brands like Patagonia. Think about brands like Whole Foods. They have lofty pursuits that are commercial as a foundation, but they have big ideas. They have change that they want to create. So what is the change that you want to create with your brand or as a person? Okay? So that's your first one. Your second one is what's happening in society that I need to be thinking about. What are the trends and the shifts that I need to be prepared for? Now, if you take this as a brand owner, what's happening with my consumers? What's happening in the global landscape that I need to think about? What's happening in technology that I need to be prepared for? And how do I show up? How does my brand show up in that future? Excuse me. So what are the shifts? What are the trends? What are the societal things happening that I can envision, that I've read about, that I need to be prepared for? Okay? Next, what is the impact that you want to make? So this is more specific than your pursuit. What is the specific measurable impact that you think you can make? And that is going to then drive a lot of those strategies and those measurables. So what are the things that you want to you can use Blue Ocean strategy, create, elevate, reduce, or eliminate? What is the impact? Okay? Next, what is the leverage that you want to have? Now, a lot of people think of leverage as a negative word. I want to think about it as a positive word in this context. What is the leverage that you want to have in the next 10, 20, 30 years as a brand or as a person, if you're thinking about it personally, that you can then use your strength, your credibility to make even more of an impact? So it's just beyond what you just sell. But what is your leverage? We can all think of brands that have leverage. There have been brands in the news lately that have shared their voice and have tremendous leverage. What is the leverage that you could accomplish or that you want? And that is connected to the final one, which is, what do you want to be notorious for? So not the notorious B.I.G. What do you want to be notorious for? Meaning, how do you want to be remarkable? What do you want to be known for? Where do you put your stake in the ground? So that's your framework for starting that future state vision, okay? Now, once you get that landscape kind of in your mind and you can see what it looks like, and it might seem out of reach, you might have some really big, hairy goals. I want you to then back out of it into the specific measurable achievements and then the behaviors that get you there. So what is the proof point? First of all, what are the proof points that you know you got there? So list out all of the different proof points, and they might be stages. So you list first your proof points that we know we arrived. Now here are ways to think about proof points, okay? So 1, what are the achievements that you accomplish in your category, your industry, with your competition, with consumers? If you're thinking about with your job, it could be specific to your job, okay? So what are the achievements? What were your non-negotiables? What were the things you walked away from that you, again, put your stake in the ground that you held to? Non-negotiables are a really interesting place to start when you think about the things you're willing to move away from. And we all know brands who have moved away from things. Whole Foods has it on their wall, all the things that they're moving away from, okay? And then what are their audacious choices? Now, I'm going to use Patagonia as an example again. They've made a lot of audacious choices to the point that they even encourage recycling their jackets or not buying a new jacket. That's an audacious choice to have a marketing campaign like that. It says, this is who we are. We are truly this future back state. We truly are living this future because this is how we behave on a daily basis. These are the audacious choices that we make. Now, every single little choice that you make that you think is inconsequential, it ladders up to either supporting or reducing your future state. If you choose cheaper packaging, or you choose to not treat a supplier well, or you choose to not pinpoint that target consumer because you want everybody, those choices will make a difference on how notorious you are in the future, on how much impact you have, on how clear your team is about the direction that you're headed. So those non-negotiables, those audacious choices, and those achievements are really critical. Now, a few other things I want you to think about. Who are your partners along the way that helped you get to this future state? Who are the partners that had shared values and a shared mission that you could have put a dollar and their dollar and their dollar all together to make more of an impact? Now, I guarantee you have brands you haven't even thought about that could be working with you, that would bring power to your message, that you could borrow equity from. Who is on the journey with you? Think about that as a point of leverage to help you get there faster, okay? And then finally, I want you to think about what is your buzz. Now, this isn't just about hiring a PR firm. What do you talk about? What do others hear you say? Again, if it's personal, what's constantly coming out of your mouth? If it's a brand, what's constantly coming out of your mouth? What are you sharing? What's your content? And then, last, what are others saying about you? In that future state, what are all of the things that you want people to say about you that you know that you are living that life, that you know you have built that brand? Now, all of these little things are about intentionality. They're all about not being accidental in your success. They're all about not taking the rush of the day in and letting that drive your actions. It's about the pregnant pause to think, is this heading me in the right direction to something that's meaningful, that is in pursuit of something that I connect with personally, that I know is going to draw others in? You can use this for your personal career planning. You can use this for your brand building. But thinking about the future and thinking further out will get you much further than if you only think about the next year. And there are lots of proof points about this in psychology. So if you need help, you know we're here for you. I really hope you have a great week. Can't wait to hear about your future dreaming, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.